There are disappearances that happen in storms and wilderness or in dangerous places where risk feels obvious. And then there are cases like this one, where nothing feels dangerous at all. No warning signs, no bad decisions. Just an ordinary day that never reached its end. This is one of those cases. This is the disappearance of Jason Jolkowski. Welcome to Where the Trail Ends, where we follow the story until it disappears. Jason Jolkowski was 19 years old in the summer of 2001. He lived in Omaha, Nebraska with his mother, Kelly. Jason was described as kind, dependable, and routine-oriented. He didn't drink. He didn't use drugs. He didn't have enemies. He was close with his family and known for being responsible, especially for someone his age. Jason had mild learning disabilities that affected his speech and processing speed, but those who knew him said he was perfectly capable of navigating daily life. He worked part-time, helped around the house, and relied heavily on structure and routine. When Jason said he would be somewhere, he showed up. On the morning of June 13th, 2001, Jason was scheduled to start a new job at a local restaurant. His shift began at 11 a.m. Jason didn't have a car that day, so he planned to walk to a nearby high school where his coworker would pick him up and drive him to work. The walk was familiar. He had done it before. It was less than a mile and passed through a quiet residential neighborhood. At around 10:45 a.m., Jason left his home. He was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. He didn't take a jacket. He didn't take a backpack. He didn't take his identification. He left behind his wallet, his bike, and everything he would have needed if he planned to go anywhere else. That was the last confirmed sighting of Jason Jolkowski. Jason never arrived at the high school. He never showed up for work. At first, his family assumed there had been a simple mix-up. Maybe the ride was late, maybe Jason misunderstood the plan. But as time passed, concerns set in. Jason would not have skipped work without telling someone. He would not have wandered off without explanation. When his mother realized something was wrong, she began calling around the neighborhood. Friends and neighbors were asked if they had seen Jason walking that morning. No one had. It was as if he vanished somewhere along that short, familiar route. Police were notified, and a search began. Officers canvassed the neighborhood, knocked on doors, and retraced Jason's walking path multiple times. They searched yards, alleys, and nearby construction areas. Nothing was found. No clothing, no personal items, no witnesses who could say they saw Jason after he left his house. What made the case especially unsettling was the time window. Jason disappeared in broad daylight in a residential area within a span of less than 30 minutes. There were no reports of a struggle, no sounds of distress, no suspicious vehicles reported in the area. Just a young man who left his house and never arrived at his destination. As days turned into weeks, investigators explored every possibility. An accident was considered, but there were no nearby bodies of water or hazardous areas where Jason could have fallen unnoticed. Foul play was considered, but there was no evidence to support it. Jason didn't have the kind of lifestyle that typically puts someone at risk, and no known suspects ever emerged. One of the most troubling aspects of the case is that Jason had no reason to disappear voluntarily. He had plans. He was excited about his new job. He had family support. And due to his reliance on routine, those close to him say it would have been extremely unlikely for him to suddenly leave without preparation or communication. Over time, tips came in from across the country. Some claimed to have seen Jason in other states. Others suggested he may have been abducted. None of the tips were ever confirmed. Every lead eventually led to a dead end. Jason's mother refused to let the case fade. She became one of the most vocal advocates for missing adults, pushing back against the idea that someone must be deceased simply because time has passed. She organized searches, worked with law enforcement, and spoke publicly about Jason whenever she could, determined to keep his name alive. Years passed, then decades. The neighborhood where Jason disappeared changed very little. The same streets, the same sidewalks. People still walk the route Jason took that morning, often unaware that a 19-year-old vanished there without a trace. Jason Jolkowski has never been found. No remains, no confirmed sightings, no answers. What makes this case so haunting isn't what we know, it's what we don't. Jason didn't disappear in a place known for danger. He didn't take risks. He didn't leave clues behind. He simply stepped into the day, and the day never gave him back. Some disappearances feel chaotic. This one feels quiet, almost too quiet. A life interrupted in the middle of an ordinary morning, with nothing to explain how or why. Jason Jolkowski didn't leave behind a mystery filled with evidence. He left behind questions, and sometimes questions are the hardest thing to live with. More than 20 years later, his case remains open. And somewhere, someone knows what happened on that short walk in Omaha. Until that truth comes to light, Jason's story remains unfinished. Thank you for watching. This is Where the Trail Ends.